It was a defining moment for one of the most influential characters in all of Dragon Ball, as Vegeta squared off against one of the most powerful warriors he's ever faced before, which resulted in a thunderous loss. But despite having to be beaten, Vegeta is not out just yet. But what does this mean? What does the future hold for Vegeta as he continues to push through in fighting Jiren? On today's video, we're going to be taking a look at Vegeta's final role going into Dragon Ball Super as the tournament reaches its conclusion, along with what this new power of his might be and the key to him surviving until the end. So buckle up and hold on to your Dragon Balls, because we are going to be exploring Vegeta's final strategy against Jiren in the Tournament of Power next. If you guys like the Dragon Ball content that I provide on this channel, then make sure you guys punch that subscribe button with notifications enabled to be the first to receive all the latest in Dragon Ball content and be a part of the Dragon Ball squad. And also don't forget to follow me on these social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, to stay connected with me at all times. Hashtag Dragon Ball Squad. Thank you so very much for your support. Now let's begin. It goes without question that Vegeta had put up a monstrous fight against Jiren, but despite having to give it his all, by the very end, Vegeta came out unsuccessful in his struggle against Jiren, but arguably had done a better job than how Super Saiyan Blue Goku did in Dragon Ball Super Episode 109 and hit in Dragon Ball Super Episode 111. And by the end, despite surviving two of Jiren's most powerful attacks, Vegeta is still in the tournament. So with that being said, I want to go on ahead and welcome Dragon Ball YouTuber EmoshIsLive, as I do want to go on ahead and ask you personally as to how you feel about Vegeta surviving two of Jiren's most devastating attacks that literally rendered him immobile. And by the very end, we come to the understanding that Vegeta is going to be gaining a higher power as we transition forward in Dragon Ball Super. What this power may be, it's really up to the audience to decide, because we don't have any definite confirmation as to what this power is, but this power is going to give Vegeta a better chance than how it did previous, considering that Dragon Ball Super Episode 126 is going to be titled Surpassing the Gods. And the only other person that I can think of that can perhaps maybe be that very person to surpass the gods, if Goku and Jiren had not done it already themselves, is Vegeta. And the title alone alludes that Vegeta is going to be putting his life on the line, perhaps maybe to do whatever he needs to in order to ring out Jiren. So I don't personally see Vegeta obtaining Ultra Instinct, unless of course once again Jiren displays more of his power in completely incapacitating Vegeta, similar to how we saw with Goku in the Spirit Bomb, in the idea that I really don't see Vegeta obtaining Ultra Instinct any other way aside from getting beat down so severely that there is no other trigger but the beatdown itself that causes him into going into Ultra Instinct. However, we could be getting something new. We could be getting a brand new form. We could be getting a new power that we've never seen before. I made a video talking about this previously, which you guys can see on screen, where I mentioned that it's suitable for Vegeta to get Mastered Super Saiyan Blue. It makes sense for at least one of them between Goku and Vegeta to completely master Super Saiyan Blue, although Master Super Saiyan Blue really wouldn't be equal to Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 per se, because that's an additional multiplication factor that really stacks on all the power you have by multiplying that or adding that additionally based on the amount of energy you begin to pour out, hence Kaioken times 4, Kaioken times 10, Kaioken times 20, and Vegeta doesn't have Kaioken. So what I wanted to ask you, Emosh, is what's your take on Vegeta's upcoming power? What do you think this may be? How do you feel about Vegeta surviving Jiren's attacks? Because so far, aside from Goku, who gained energy from Frieza, he was the only one that technically was able to survive Jiren's attacks. And you know, Hit, we saw what happened with Hit when he got blasted out of the ring. He wasn't able to condense that, as did Vegeta, and it's very unique to see how Vegeta was able to study and pick up on Jiren's movements, even though it's arguable that Jiren wasn't even trying. He was heavily suppressed. You gotta give props to Vegeta on that one. So what is this new power? How do you see him going out in terms of risking his life and what the outcome may be for his character? And just in general, how do you feel about Vegeta as we transition and go forward towards the finale of the Tournament of Power?
Alright, so first off, whatever this new form is, Migate Blue, Migate no Blue, Saiyan Blue, Saiyan 2 Blue, Master Super Saiyan Blue, Full Powered Super Saiyan Blue, Ultra Instinct Blue, whatever it is, What we should be talking about is where Vegeta's going to stand after he unlocks the final form of this, whatever this form is, okay? Let's just theoretically say that the form we see in 123 is not the final product. He just taps into it. He awakens a power that goes beyond Super Saiyan Blue, okay?
Right.
So by default, visually, we still see him in Super Saiyan Blue. What we should be talking about is where it leaves him. What pedestal, what platform does this put Vegeta on? If this puts Vegeta on a Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 level, like Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku times 20 level, okay? That's okay only if Vegeta has not legitimately like reached the full potential of this form, right? Meaning the outro, what we see in the new Dragon Ball Super outro. If that's the case, I'm okay with it. Ultimately though, the end game for Vegeta should be able to put him like beyond the Genki Dama, okay? Because Super Saiyan Kefla rivaled the Genki Dama. She was not equal to, but she rivaled that power, which is insane because that power was exponentially greater than Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken times 20 Goku, which was supposedly supposed to defeat a suppressed Jiren anyway. So the byproduct, the final product of Vegeta, I've been saying on my channel was that it should put him on Super Saiyan 2 Kefla level or Goku's level by default, okay? Because now the way they're kind of portraying this, they're giving something that fans wanted. The fans may not be entirely excited with the fact that, oh, it's just a darker shade of blue with, you know, crystallized blue eyes. Yay. Like, no. Some people are legitimately happy that at least Vegeta is looking different.
He's getting something,
right, and he's achieving a power that rivals or equates to Goku without having to rely on Ultra Instinct itself. Let's just say it's not Ultra Instinct. Let's just say maybe it is a version, for example, right? Whatever the case may be, where does this put Vegeta in terms of power? Will he continue to be a shadow to Goku? Will he continue to take the back seat? I hope not. I think the reason they're doing this is because now they're giving something that fans wanted, and despite Goku and Vegeta being full-blooded Saiyans, they're giving them their own identity. If that's the best way that I could rationalize this. They're giving Vegeta his own identity, they're giving Goku his own identity, and Goku's yet to master the form as well. So I could see why Dragon Ball Super Episode 123, Vegeta has not supposedly mastered the form itself. He's going to continue to progress, he's going to continue to evolve, and that's something I would personally like to see. As far as 126 goes now, I will say this. After that episode, Vegeta may potentially be my favorite character in Dragon Ball Super, hands down. And the reason I say it is because it's not me being excited. It's not no quote unquote Vegeta fanboys, whatever. It has nothing to do with that. The idea of Vegeta putting his life on the line. We've seen him do this before. Last time I did this against Fat Buu, against Majin Buu in the Majin Buu arc, okay? And that made Vegeta a lot of people's favorite character at that point, okay? If you didn't like Vegeta before, more or less, you developed a respect.
You grew to like him after that, of course you did.
Exactly. You grew some kind of respect for Vegeta, especially after he admits in the fight against Kid Buu that Kakarot was the best. That was also another pivotal moment. I think that entire arc was more for growth for Vegeta, from character development. Exactly. And now coming into Super, he's more or less been equal to Goku in terms of Super Saiyan Blue. He achieved the power on his own via training with Whis, as to where Goku borrowed the power via the other Saiyans and then made the power his own. Vegeta kind of earned it more.
He did it on his own. And granted, he's also been training with Whis a bit longer too.
Yes, and these are facts. It has nothing to do with me, stomping on Goku. These are facts, okay? So Vegeta has been depicted to be his own, have been traveling his own path. He wants to surpass Goku. He even mentions in Battle Gods that he wants to surpass Beerus as well, and the Super Saiyan God. He says the Super Saiyan God, Beerus, and even you, Kakarot. So it's like, okay, so he has this agenda, and I think this life-threatening attack, I would personally like to see it if it's not the Gamma Burst Flash. We talked about it as well already. I would see another reenactment of the final explosion, but only to the point where it doesn't necessarily kill him, but very much like the Genki Dama, Vegeta's body, Vegeta's will, which is something that he has, and that's evident after seeing him getting already dud, and then getting back up, tapping into this new power, risking his life. So meaning for episode 122, 23, 24, 25, and 26, that's 5 straight minutes that he's helping Goku fight Jiren for 5 minutes. The fact that he could last that long, even though it is plot incentivized, it says leaps and bounds of everything, okay? And with that, I would like to see the final explosion make its reintroduction into Dragon Ball Super, considering that we've gotten a lot of fan service-based events. For example, the Genki Dama was used on Frieza, Kaioken was used on Frieza, and we got that against Jiren in the 1 hour special, episode 109 and episode 110 as well, okay? We got the final flash against Perfect Cell, okay? And back in Dragon Ball Z with Vegeta, and now we got the final flash versus Jiren, okay? Other events that have taken place in Dragon Ball Z have also made their way into Dragon Ball Super, especially into the Tournament of Power primarily, which is why the Tournament of Power is doing so well in terms of ratings, in terms of market value. So with that, I have to say, if anything, I would love to see something close to the final explosion, because I think that scene in itself kind of rivals the scene of the Genki Dama, which was also an implosion to some kind. Goku's his willpower to resist the blast, ended up awakening Ultra Instinct. He tapped into a deeper shell of potential, surpassed that, and the Genki Dama ended up providing Goku a temporary source of power, as stated by Whis. This could very be the same thing, just like they've been doing with Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan Blue, and now this alleged new power. Vegeta could tap into this new power, or into a greater power on his own, and as a result of that, he gives everything he has. The term surpassing the gods means to defeat someone, because you can't legitimately kill anybody, okay? So let's say if he defeats Toppo, to some degree, you could say that, yeah, he surpassed a god, an actual god,
right.
based on the 125 episode title. So with that, I think it says a lot for Vegeta, and I think even if he loses in 126 going into 127, for example, I think fans, I know I will, hopefully I speak for everybody when I say this, will legitimately be happy that Vegeta took a major W against somebody who was, whether it's plot incentivized or not, someone who was depicted to be have this position, the God of Destruction position, or have the powers of a God of Destruction, whatever the case may be, or rival a God of Destruction, whatever it is, Vegeta takes a major W. I'm happy with it. I'm excited. I'm really pushing for something along the lines of the final explosion.
I would love to see a concept very similar to the final explosion, but not to the degree where he actually blows himself up, because we spoke about this prior. If he were to blow himself up, I think that it's fair to say the explosion isn't really going to do much to Jiren anyway, just as Majin Buu. The only difference is Majin Buu actually got blown to pieces and recovered. I don't think the blast, just like the final flash, would have any effect on Jiren's body. So thus, if Vegeta kills himself, it would be a massive L for Universe 7, but instead, I think that it would be very awesome to see him just get beat down so bad, and despite him coming back and just, having to fight and try against this guy, at the very end, I can see him clinging on and, pretty much going along the lines of saying, okay, well, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me no matter what. So, because remember, his pride is what was targeted during Dragon Ball Super Episode 122. As pointed out by Piccolo, he said the reason why Vegeta is so resilient is because he's not being targeted directly, it's more or less his pride is taking damage, because Jiren pointed out and saying your hands are very ignorant and you will never be able to win. And that line alone was enough to even trigger Vegeta and saying, you know what, forget Ultra Instinct, Kakarot can have that, I don't need it, I don't care. And that reminds me so much of when he wanted to become a Super Saiyan for the first time, when he was just like, I don't care, whatever, and then all of a sudden he achieved it. So now it's like, I feel like they're kind of foreshadowing that for him, saying, I don't care, he can have it, whatever, let me just do what I have to do. But as we transition forward, a lot of people, and again, there's nothing wrong with theorizing or speculating if you have irrefutable factual evidence to support your narrative from an objective point of view, not just because you want to see Ultra Instinct, but because you feel like there's evidence to support that claim. I don't think Vegeta's going to get it, because if he does, I think it would have been alluded by now, but then again, we don't really know what's going to happen in Dragon Ball Super Episode 127. But going into 126, to ask you, do you see this being the end of Vegeta? Do you see this being like the be-all, end-all for him being here? Or do you think that in some way, shape, or form, he's still going to be around, and maybe he might obtain the form, maybe he might transition and just grow from all the, the tremendous beating he takes? What's your take on what's going to follow after Episode 126? And would you accept it as a Vegeta fan, knowing that despite everything he did, by the end, he took the L, but at least he tried? What are your thoughts on that?
No, it's 1000% acceptable if he takes a major W, if he does something that really marks, it sets itself, like if he marks himself, he marks his name in Dragon Ball Super history, because he's marked his name in Dragon Ball Z history already. So by doing this, he kind of marks himself in Dragon Ball Super history, and I think a lot of people will end up respecting him a lot more. Yeah, we might get some memes, because lately we're getting a lot of memes of Vegeta, which have been hilarious, by the way. But it might be like, oh, well, Vegeta, almost killed himself and he still took an L, ha 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 ha. Like, yes, looking at it from a troll's perspective, that is the case. But ultimately, when you look at it as a fan, and me not being a Vegeta fan yet, I will admit that he is growing on me though, and I'm pushing for him now, not for him to win the tournament, but at least for him to get a major W, at least for him to lead the Tournament of Power, satisfying people, and finally putting to rest this whole ideology of him being the most hated character among developers and stuff like that, which was like ages ago anyway, so that doesn't really apply anymore. So with that, I think it's healthy for the series. I think it's good for the fan base. Going into 127, I would agree with you that that has to be the be-all end-all for Vegeta. Will he get eliminated though? Well, if he's risking his life I imagine he has nothing left to provide after.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing. But that's also why I would say that whatever this attack is might also allow Vegeta to tap into a new power, the final form of this alleged power, maybe the one that we see in the outro, very much like how Goku gave everything he had, put his life on the line, almost died, okay, by the Genki Dama. People thought that he died, okay? And instead what we got was a new power from Goku. We got Ultra Instinct Goku, the imperfected version of that. So I can honestly say I'm more on the fence. I'm more on the side of leaning more towards Vegeta will survive past 126.
Now, just for the record, I don't hate Vegeta, and I'm pretty certain that Emosh doesn't either, but I really do think that by the end of this, it's going to boil down to Ultra Instinct Goku and of Jiren. Now, the reason why I say that is because I don't see Vegeta being that key component to where it causes Jiren's elimination. Maybe Vegeta is going to play a hand in injuring Jiren. See, that would be different. I think that would be more acceptable than having Vegeta completely body Jiren, given the fact that the way Jiren has been introduced, he just seems like a wrecking ball. He seems like an immovable object, and I really do feel like with Vegeta's upcoming power, it does put him at a better position to go all out and just prove himself to Goku, prove himself to Beerus. But in the long run, I really don't see Vegeta having to unlock some sort of a higher power that puts him way beyond Goku. Now, is it possible for there to be a Super Saiyan Blue 2, an Ultra Instinct Vegeta? Hell, anything is possible. I'm not Toei, I'm not Akira Toriyama to write this stuff, so who am I really to say? All we can really go based off of is the evidence presented in the show that maybe suggests that he is going in the same direction as Goku in terms of getting Ultra Instinct, even though I have my doubts. If that were to happen, it would truly be a defining moment in the show, because it would be a moment to where you don't have just one, but two Ultra Instinct fighters having to combat this one Alpha Prime fighter. And this dude, Jiren, if you look at the way he's been fighting two Super Saiyan Blues, he's been doing it with complete ease. And I do think that Vegeta, by the end, if he realizes that he just can't do it, I would love to see him cling on to Jiren and attempting to kind of do like a double ring out, you know, sacrificing himself, not more or less in, you know, killing himself to prove himself, you know, to his universe, but I think more or less in trying to sacrifice his own vessel in causing Jiren's elimination. For example, as I said earlier, holding on to Jiren and bringing him closer to the edge of the ring in terms of, you know, having to pull what Super Saiyan 4 Goku did against Android 17 during the Dragon Ball GT story when Super Saiyan 4 Goku threatened to kill himself and take 17 with him. I would love to see something like that, to where Vegeta realizes that he just can't do anything against this person, so instead of fighting him head on and realizing that he really can't do anything to defeat him, he attempts to maybe sacrifice himself and his own ranking in this tournament just to toss out Jiren. So in the end, guys, post your comments down below. What do you guys think about the whole situation? What are your overall thoughts on Vegeta maybe sacrificing himself to cause a double, you know, ring out for him and Jiren? What are your overall thoughts on his power? What do you think this power is? And as we move on forward, where do you guys stand with Vegeta? Do you guys respect the character? Do you guys think that he's just proven to be fodder just like every other person that came before Jiren? Post your comments down below, guys. And in terms of his power, what do you think this new power is going to be? Is it Mastered Super Saiyan Blue? Is it Ultra Super Saiyan Blue? Is it the fan theory of Super Saiyan Blue 2? What do you guys think it is? Is it Ultra Instinct perhaps? Let me know down below. By the end, I'm calling it right now. It's going to come down to only Goku and only Jiren by the end, with maybe the exception of Frieza having to be hidden somewhere in the ring. I don't see Frieza getting out. I see Frieza staying in, and I see him staying in until the very end, to where he's going to slowly sneak his way in there and cause a massive elimination. So post your comments down below, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you guys are new to this channel and love Dragon Ball, don't forget to go ahead and punch that subscribe button, guys. Turn on all notifications. If you guys are also unfamiliar with Twitter, make sure to go ahead and follow me at Twitter at UnrealEntGaming. Make sure you guys also check out Emosh's channel. I will leave a link to his channel down below. Make sure you guys check him out. Hit that subscribe button. Thank you all so much for watching. Tune back in for more, and we'll be seeing you all down in the comment section below. Cue my outro, bitch.